Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Grizzly Bear Sim's YouTube channel, and welcome back to Calmsden Farm. This is episode number 8, and we are getting right into our action today. Just going to drop these seeds off right over here. Hopefully, they will be out of the way for what we've got going on today. And today, yes, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to start doing a little bit of seeding. Now, this field that we're standing on right here is going to be our winter wheat field. This field had barley on it. As we're doing barley, uh, winter wheat, and canola, we have already planted canola down in the furthest field that direction. And I know that you probably would have put canola in this field and not necessarily had this one be another cereal crop. This was barley, as you can remember. We're going to put our winter wheat into this field, but we're not going to do that today. It did rain just a little bit this morning, but as my dad would say, it rained just long enough to make everything look dirty, but we got absolutely no benefit from it. The field is already dry. It stopped raining several hours ago, and the field is already dry, so that's not going to prevent us from being able to get right into the planting action. And the field that was wheat, well, that will become our barley field, and we're going to put oilseed radish down on that field because, as I have talked about in the past, we do want to try to be as organic as possible, and we're not going to have, most likely, we're not going to have enough slurry to be able to accommodate that goal this year, this planting cycle, but we should be able to do it next year. So we may still have to spread some chemical fertilizers, either solid or liquid, on the fields to come up to that second level of fertilization. But we are going to use oilseed radish as the first level. So you might remember a few episodes ago, I did go ahead and we put lime down on this field here. And normally we would maybe cultivate that lime in, but we're going to direct seed our oilseed radish seeds down into this, and then of course, obviously, when we come around at the point where we're going to get ready to plant our barley in the springtime in this field, then we will come in and we will cultivate the oilseed radish in, and then seed on top of that cultivated field. But as this seeder will basically go ahead and seed directly onto the field just after we harvested the wheat off of it, we're going to take advantage of that and go ahead and be able to do that. So I'm going to take a little lesson from my dear friend Fury Machine Gaming, and we're going to back our cruise control speed off just a little bit here because I think this thing is running at about 10 miles per hour. We're gonna try 7 and see how that goes. Most likely he will probably would tell me that we would seed much slower than this, but at 7 miles per hour, I think we can get our work accomplished and not be running up and down the field at 10 miles an hour. And it's possible that the seeder may go a little quicker than that, but we're just going to kick back and relax a little bit and enjoy our Saturday morning. It is Saturday, the 29th of January, and I am enjoying my coffee this morning, enjoying just easing into my day. My wife, uh, my wife obviously is still working. She's a few years younger than me, and so she still works. And she works at the same company that I used to work at. We just were in different departments and did completely different jobs, but that's kind of how we met. And she relocated here to the Denver area back in 2002. I had the opportunity to come over and did, and of course that was just part of our history together. We had obviously met about a year and a half before that time, when I was on a business trip to London, and I'm pretty sure I've told that story before. But anyway, she does work for that same company, and the one of the products, one of the many enterprise type of business software, big business. These are like Fortune 500 type companies that run business software. Um, One of the products that customers use, obviously, is a year-end um, financials, accounting, human resources kind of type of software. And so, obviously, this being the very tail end of the month of January here in the U.S., obviously companies have to be able to get um, their W-2s and stuff like that out to employees. And so she is on call this weekend, is what I'm trying to say, but taking a rather long time to do it. My tongue is getting twisted up this morning. But she is on call this weekend, so we're not going to be doing a whole lot of anything other than just kind of sticking close to home in case customers have waited until the last minute. It's kind of funny because she tells me stories of stuff that's going on in her organization, and I know many of the employees that she works with because I spent 23 years of my life working for this same company. Um, and so it's kind of funny how that even at the big business level, um, people wait until the last minute to do things. And so there's obviously each and every year there's a variety of different changes, different tax laws and tax changes that have to be incorporated into the software to basically match up with what the federal government is requiring of employees and companies and all this kind of stuff. And these companies wait until the very, very last minute. I mean, these companies have to have this information um, printed and I believe postmarked prior to the end of the month. So I mean, we are literally at that particular time frame right now, being the end of the month. I think the first is on Monday, right? Or maybe it's Tuesday. But anyway, that's what she's going to be doing, and she's on call, and she's only on call maybe four, maybe six times a year, and it's typically always these kind of really critical, crucial kind of moments that when she is, and but when she is, her shift on Friday, she basically works 8 to 5 on Friday, but then she's on call from 6 until midnight. So our plan, our schedule, when this happens, when she's on call, our schedule is something like this. I stay up until my regular bedtime, which I usually will go upstairs around 9:30, 10 o'clock. I read for maybe 30 minutes to an hour, and then it's usually lights out for me around 10:30 or so. I'm gonna get a drink of coffee here in just a second. I forgot to move my coffee closer to my desk here. It's sitting over on another desk that I have. And bear with me a moment. All right, and we're off again. As I was saying, her shift on Friday is until midnight. So I go upstairs at my usual kind of regular time, and I read a bit. I've been enjoying a couple of different books by Dan Jones, who, if you're familiar with him, he's written books on the Plantagenets, the Magna Carta, various kings and queens of England, and very, very interesting books. And I've quite enjoyed it. And I'm in the Plantagenets now, and just about finished with it. And then I move over to my wife got me the War of the Roses for Christmas, and so I will start that book. And he's a very good writer. I like reading true history kind of stuff versus like novels and such as that. But anyway, I head upstairs, and she stays up until her on-call shift ends, and which I said is midnight. And then on Saturday, her on-call shift starts at 7 in the morning. Well, I kind of agreed that she needs to get her rest, And so what I generally do is, because I go to bed early on Friday night, or relatively early, 10:30, something like that. I get up early on Saturday morning, which I would do anyway. Even if I stayed up till midnight, most likely I've reached that old man stage of life where you wake up at the same time every single day, regardless of what time you went to sleep. You're going to wake up around that same time. And so I've kind of made a dog's dinner, as they would say in England, out of that turn, and messed that completely up because I was thinking about something else. So anyway, I get up because I get up at my regular time, as I said, regardless of what's going on in the world, and get up, and I'm just kind of monitoring her phone for a few hours until she wakes up, and then she has to go again until midnight. And there have been times where she's on call and she gets absolutely no calls, no pages, no anything. She doesn't have to do a single thing. And then some weekends it's like one or two across the entire weekend, from Friday evening through Sunday afternoon. She goes off call at 6 o'clock on Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening. And but I have a feeling that this weekend could be kind of wild, because this last week has been a little bit of a wild one for her, simply because there have been so many companies that have kind of waited until the last minute to get this done, and as a result of waiting until the last minute to get this done, everybody is kind of scrambling, because there are a few little quirks to getting this installed and getting it working correctly and everything. So anyway, you guys don't necessarily tune in to listen to me talk about what she does, but you all are my friends, and you're interested in what's going on in my life, and that is a major part of my life. Even though I'm retired, out of a respect for my wife, as I have talked about before, I'm the house husband. I do the majority of the cleaning. I do 90% of the cooking, and I've done it again. And I do pretty much 100% of all the errands and running around and stuff like that. Just simply because that's only fair. She's still working, and she's still bringing in a paycheck, and everything, and so I want to do my share. And so I have, as I've kind of talked about, I have limited time with my gaming. I don't want to necessarily take advantage of the fact that um, I stay down here in my man cave and play farming simulator or truck simulator or flight simulator or something like that while she's working. I typically do my gaming and get things that I need to get done for the purpose of videos and such like that. I try to do that when either she's still sleeping or before she has started working, or late at night if I happen to have a bout of insomnia, which does happen a few times a year for me, where I just can't sleep, and I go through several days where I just basically can't sleep, can't go to sleep, and end up just kind of tossing and churning and fighting it. I will usually get up and stay up for a few hours, and if I do that for a few days in a row, then obviously it kind of puts me back in sync again, where I can go ahead with my normal patterns. But anyway, because you all are interested in my life and what I do, I wanted to share that little bit of information with you, and I guess just kind of tee up and say that because of the fact that she's on call this weekend, my weekend is going to be pretty much spent at home. We've got a few movies picked out that we want to watch, and if she's not busy, then that's kind of what we'll do. And I sort of plan some simple meals that aren't too complex in case she is on calls and such like that. during mealtime, then that way it's easier for her to eat, quicker to eat, not going to be something that is going to ruin, a really nice dinner or something. So in other words, we're not having lobster tonight. Not that we have lobster at any point in time, but we're not going to have lobster tonight. But anyway, as we kind of trudge along here with getting oilseed radish put down, the seed, our seed yield is really, really good. I don't know if this is true to life, but we have used 6% of our seed capacity in putting in about 3 headlands, and we're going to start going up and down here in just a moment. I don't know if that is true to life, not necessarily having done a lot of jobs on a farm. I have done some, as I have mentioned before in videos, but like planting, harvesting, those are things that I have not done. I've cut hay, I've raked hay, I've obviously stacked a whole lot of hay bales in my younger days and everything, doing those kind of things on the farm. Spending some time at my friend's dairy, as I've mentioned before, and kind of helping him do things, but never really doing things like planting and whatnot. So we're going to clean this up here. Just clean up this edge. And we'll just keep going straight. We'll lift up. But I've never driven a tractor and seeder, so I'm not 100% sure, if the yields are what they are. I am using base game equipment as far as the seeder is concerned, and there I go again with my foot flat on the pedal. I do like to use cruise control simply because as I've gotten older in my life, my joints, some of my joints hurt, and after a while, my ankle joints will hurt quite a bit. And I started noticing this several years ago when we would go and visit my parents before my mom died, and of course now when we go to visit my dad in Texas, we typically drive. We've flown a few times, but generally always has been, the visits have been kind of either around Christmas, where we're carrying Christmas gifts and stuff down for my family, or other times of the year where maybe I'm bringing something back from that part of Texas, whatever. We've always kind of had the need or kind of wanted to make sure that we've had our car with us. So we drive, and it's about 900 miles, and it generally takes us, I can do it in a day if we get up super early in the morning, and if we just basically, all we do is drive. I have our fuel stops planned. I know where we need to stop, and we try to coordinate fuel stops with meal stops and bathroom breaks, and only stop in between fuel stops for bathroom breaks when we have to, and we don't mess around, and we don't dilly-dally. We're just focused on what we need to do, and if I leave around 4 o'clock in the morning, I can get to my parents' house around 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the afternoon, Texas time. And so, but I would notice that as I would drive long distances, and if I didn't use cruise control, which I do typically almost always use cruise control, but still sometimes I would forget to set cruise, and I would realize that, okay, my ankle is starting to hurt. Well, it's the same thing in farm sim or truck sim. If I do a whole lot of it, and even though the pedals on my G27 are nice and easy, I would have to think I'm going to just press on my gas pedal here. The tension on the G27 gas pedal is very similar to that of my car feeling. I had to check that because I wasn't 100% sure, but I did, and it is. And but if you do that for any length of time, hold your leg or your foot or whatever in one position for any length of time, as you get older especially, it starts to cause you some problems. And so I've hit that time of my life, and it is what it is, and we just will endeavor to push through it, move through it, and not let it control our life, at least as much as potentially possible. So a few videos ago, and I think I might have even talked about it in the last video, I sort of talked about the ratios for total mixed rations, and I have figured that out. I know what I need to do as far as how we're going to mix our straw, because straw is not required. You can make TMR with just hay and silage, but obviously hay or straw is a good filler to add, and I certainly want to do that, so it makes the hay and the silage go a little bit further. But I figured out what we need to do and how we need to do it, and I probably will raise my hand and say that, basically I didn't do myself any favors when we baled the straw, because I went with the 240 centimeter setting, thinking, okay, well that's what we're gonna do. We're just gonna make the biggest darn bale that we possibly can, because everything is bigger and better in Texas, right? That's kind of always been my philosophies of things, and but I realized that with the mixing wagon that we have, and we have the largest in-game mixing wagon that's available in the default base game. It holds 24,000 liters of total mixed rations. But when you have a 9,000 liter square bale of straw, that if you put the entire straw bale in the mixing wagon, that is going to throw your ratios off. There is no way you're going to get TMR to mix, regardless of how much silage or how much hay that you put in there. Your ratios are going to be off, and all you're going to get is forage. So what we're going to have to do, at least for the interim, is we're going to have to put the straw in. We're going to have to tip a bit of the straw out, and thankfully, obviously we need straw at the where we feed the cows. It'll take straw right there, so we can just empty out about 2,500 to 3,000 liters of straw to make that anywhere between 6,000 to 6,500 liters of straw remaining in the mixing wagon, and then go ahead and put your silage in, your hay in, at whatever ratio between those two you want to use, and then also put our mineral feed in. So I went to the store yesterday and we picked up 4 pallets of mineral feed that we have available to us, and we're going to be ready to go mixing total mixed rations. Probably need to do some in the next game day when it shows up as October 1. And just as a reminder, we are doing 2 game days per month, 6 game day seasons, and so that's how we're running things here. All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, obviously you can tell I've still got a little bit of this field to seed, and it will be interesting to see how Fury Machine Gaming tackles his planting. And I know that he's already planning on using the same size equipment that he has been harvesting with, and I think that is like a 3 meter, 4 meter header that he's had on that harvester. And so I'm pretty sure that he's going to use a 3 or 4 meter cultivator, a 3 or 4 meter seeder. Now, he did say in his most recent video that he was going to simulate, much as we are, no-till farming. So he won't be plowing, but he will be planting oilseed radish. He will be cultivating, and then obviously he will be seeding some types of crops. I'm not sure what he's planning on planting. So it's going to be interesting to see just how long it takes him to get through the cycles that he's got, and obviously through the entire year until he comes back around to harvesting again. Quite an undertaking, quite an endeavor he's got going on, and I'm anxiously looking forward to each of his videos. And if you have not checked that out, I've mentioned it a few times and posted links to his channel in my show notes. definitely check that out. It is quite interesting, and he's got quite a lot of really cool stories because he does have the experience of living and working on a real farm, and that is something that obviously I don't have completely, and it has been rather interesting. Plus, he and I have a whole lot of stuff in common, and it's just been really interesting to get to know him through his YouTube channel and listening to his stories and everything. So, anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to continue to do this off camera, and when we come back together, this field will be seeded with oilseed radish, and that will move us one step along. And when we do come back together in for the next episode, which will be episode number 9, we will be in October and be looking at getting the winter wheat field prepared for seed. We'll probably cultivate that just to give us a good seed bed, and then we'll go ahead and seed the winter wheat down. So thank you for watching. I do appreciate it. I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful day or weekend, whenever you're watching this video. And I hope that you will return for another video on Calmsden Farm on the Grizzly Bear Sims YouTube channel very soon. Take good care of yourself and also those around you. And God bless you all. We'll see you back here very soon. Bye for now.